Welcome back, my Carib Vibes chat people. Thank you very much for joining us again here on Carib Vibes chat. Of course, this is the Canadian Caribbean chat that we always try to have with our supporting our Caribbean people that is living here in Canada and in terms of what they're feeling about. So I want to thank you very much for joining us here on Carib Vibes chat again. Of course, remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. We're just getting started and we're just getting into the groove, but we'll be bringing you a whole lot of different things in regards to what's going on with us and how are we doing here in Canada, and just keep supporting our community all the way with different content and different our own opinions about things and all of that. And how are we doing? The Caribbean community is very large here, especially in Ontario, and we need to support each other in terms of what we do. So we're going to continue. But this week we went out into the street to the Vox Pop, and we went and talked to our Caribbean people in regards to what do they think about the Caribbean, about the Canadian election that was just held, that the Liberals have won over the Conservative by a slim margin, 3 seats to be exact. And if Donald Trump and the American had anything or played any role in terms of how the liberals would have come back from an election that looked destined that they would have lost to win the election, with wanting 3 more seats to even have a majority in the House. So we went out in the street and let's see what happened. But remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We'll be bringing you a whole lot of content, a whole lot of things that's happening here with us in the Caribbean, in Canada, or from Caribbean folks. So just stay tuned and always just share our content. All right? Thanks so much. What do you think the President of the United States rhetoric had to do with our election? Do you think that it had a bearing on our elections today and the outcome of our election? Do you think so? So we're going to go inside and check out what the persons have to say inside. And of course, we'll be in and around the GTA area trying to find out what they too also think about the outcome of our election and the US impact on it. So come along and go inside with us. Let's see what they say, okay? Today?
Luenda Joseph.
Luenda Joseph. Hi Luenda, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
So you're at Nicest to get some great food, eh?
That's right.
Fantastic. So my question today for my Vox Pop is, do you think that Donald Trump trade war had a bearing on our election here in Canada?
He certainly did.
He certainly did.
Yes.
Why do you think so?
Well, I think that Poirier was following everything that Donald said, and he is for Poirier. So I am really happy how the election went.
Oh, it worked out?
Yes, it worked
Okay.
out.
So you had gone out and voted yourself too, to
Yes,
ensure?
oh yes, I was out voting. I voted at advanced polling.
Advanced polling?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so tell me your name. Here we are today. Of course, we're in the street, we're in the mall, the Bradleywood Mall, as a matter of fact. And we're talking to our friends here in the street. Can you just tell me what your name is?
My name is Dudley.
Okay, Dudley, thanks so much. And do you think that the Donald Trump tariff and the Donald Trump situation had an outcome on this year's election in Canada?
Yes, I do. Because, what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do. I think it does. Because the progressive, they talk really tough against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is, in my opinion, is just being a real idiot. With the high tariff against Canada, they're best friends for one, and we promised that we would fight back. Mm-hmm. We would fight back, but the Liberals, a lot of people don't like the Liberals anymore because of the job situation. Mm-hmm. But obviously they're really tough against Donald Trump. That's why they vote back the Liberal in. Because before, most of my friends and a lot of people I talked about work, they didn't like the Liberals anymore.
Yeah.
But because of the Donald Trump situation, they all went back and voted for this new guy because Trudeau was, I got nothing against the guy, but he wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. So you think that this guy Carney was a little bit stronger,
Yeah,
or the best guy for the situation?
And when Donald Trump speak about 51st state, he said, basically, his words were, stay out of Canadian politics.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for him.
It's
So
a good thing.
my opinion would have been for progressive, but
Yeah.
according to what this guy talked about, he was a little bit better than the progressive. So
Yeah.
Carney, in my book, will stand up against Trump and hopefully get the tariff situation solved.
All right. We're here in the Bridlewood Mall, and we're speaking to another one of our readers here of the Caribbean Camera. Could you tell me what your name is?
My name is Paul.
Paul. Thank you very much, Paul. And my question today is, do you think that the Donald Trump situation had a big outcome and a big influence on the election here in Canada recently?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Tell me the reason why. Why you think so?
Well, because of all the tariffs, right? We had to get someone strong, someone that understands financial and all that to deal with Donald Trump. So I think that's the reason the guy won.
Yeah, so I think Carney won because everybody wanted somebody who can manage that situation. And someone different.
Yes, he is different.
So he's different. Yeah. And the tariff is a bad thing, you think?
I think so.
You think so?
For every country, not just our country, but for all the countries.
For all countries.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your answer. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, have a good one.
You too, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, thank you very much. So speaking to a friend of mine here, Travis from the Caribbean Camera. Travis, you want to say your last name in it at all, or you just want to keep it as Travis?
Yeah,
keep it as Travis. All right, thank you so much. I want to find out from you today, what do you think of the election? If you think that Donald Trump situation affected our election, and why you think so?
See, the why is the next thing. I would say kind of.
Yeah.
The reason why I would say that. Let me think a little bit.
Yeah, well, think about it. You think the tariff and all of that kind of thing, make
It definitely affected us because look how the life is in Toronto right now, right? Everything's way over expensive.
Very expensive.
Way over expensive.
Yeah.
Right? And that goes down the board with everything, down to groceries.
Everything.
Everything.
So you think the tariff, even though we're not experiencing too much of the tariff right now, I think it's going to be
worse or better?
Worse or better?
I say in the middle, right? All depends. We'll see what Carney can do.
Yeah. Say if the Conservative have won, you think it would have been the same or different?
I think it would be different, but worse.
But worse. So you really think that Carney is the best
comparing him to Pullover? Yes, I would say yes.
You would say yes.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much, Travis.
No problem,
I appreciate it. All right.
Have a great day.
Barbers, and we're talking to one of the barber here. So just tell me your name and tell me whether or not you think that the Donald Trump and the tariff and the whole U.S. thing had play a role in terms of our Canadian elections here.
Okay, yes, name is Jezreel Fakayode. Yeah, I absolutely do agree that the tariffs and Trump played a tremendous role into the decision making that we had as voters here in Canada for the election. Yeah. Absolutely.
Why do you think so? What was the reason?
Well, one of the things is that we want capability. We want to make sure that the person who's representing us when those negotiations are being made across the border is someone that has influence, that's someone that has leverage and knowledge of how the economy works. And I think people's confidence in the current representative for our country is what played a role in whether or not he could be effective in making those negotiations. So not without reservation, though. I do want to be clear that that's the reason why I believe we have a minority government now, is because it's an audition. We want to make sure that the capabilities are there for the person to make these negotiations happen. So as you can see, it's a minority government, so people are still paying attention. Didn't give it a full sweep majority. So our decisions were made definitely based on that.
Yeah. So I think the Conservative would have lost or would have won if there was no Trump comment and everything about the 51st state and all of that kind of a thing. The Conservative would have clearly won.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, I do think that the PC, I was telling everybody in the barbershop here, and there's a lot of discussions politically in barbershops, because we're the pulse of the community. Yeah. And we felt that the PCs actually had a slam dunk win. It was only within the 11th hour of the Liberals campaigning that we realized that the direction had changed for PCs. And we do feel it was, a lot of people feel it was Carney's experience and capability to deal with how Trump's rhetoric of trying to annex Canada and all that sense of Canadian pride started to push through a lot in that platform. And even though both of them had the same platform in terms of trying to say, okay, we're proud Canadians and we need to reinvest in Canadians, we were looking at mudslinging versus solutions. And one party was mudslinging a bit more, and one part and doing smear campaigns a little bit more, and one party was talking about solutions a lot more. And then when you're an educated voter, you start looking at what's the platform. Is it more solution based, or are we looking at just trying to like discredit the other party? And I think people weren't concerned about discrediting a party anymore. They wanted solutions, and that was played a big part. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Jez. Remind me your name again.
Yes, Jezreel Ifakayode Batson. Yes.
Thank you so much.
First name is Andre.
Andre, all right. So, tell me what you think, Andre, about the outcome of the election. Do you think the Liberals won because Donald Trump would have said a whole of what he said, and the Conservatives would have paid the price, for not even coming out and saying anything about what Donald Trump is saying? What do you think?
I honestly don't think Donald Trump had anything to do with it. People voted how they voted based on loyalty.
Yeah.
They voted because they voted for Liberals because that's what they're used to. And Conservative put out so much information that in hearing all that information, it was scary to a lot of people. But in turn, they use their opinion of what they don't know and be more judgmental instead of doing their own research. You know what I'm saying? People voted based off loyalty, not off what is the current facts or what life has to offer to younger generations, in my opinion.
So do you think Canadians is a liberal country, or do you think
I
that...
think right now they're more liberal than they say they are, to be honest. They're more liberal just based off loyalty. Like they always say, people are loyal to a fault. Yeah. So that's just my opinion on it all, to be honest. I know I vote Conservative. It's just what it is,
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what the Conservative did.
No.
As long as they changed Trudeau, then they would have won anyway.
Simple as that. They would have won anyway, in my opinion, because look at the voter turnout. How do you lose a riding in your own constituents? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, which means you only showing me and pretending that you were going to vote for me. But really and truly, you're like, when it comes to the ballot time, I know who I'm going based on being loyal to what the faults are.
But you think Donald Trump rhetoric with 51st state and all of that kind of tariff and all of that played a role?
Even all that, I wouldn't mind being the 51st state. I won't even lie to you. Because the American dollar is stronger as it is right now anyway, so it is what it is. But I don't think that played any role. I think that was just a song they sang and then they just danced to it and made that the excuse as to why they voted how they voted.
What about your own feeling of being a country of your own kind?
Well, I'm born, raised Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yes, I came to Canada like everyone else. Yeah. I'm now a Canadian citizen, but at the same time, I'm only looking out for the future, and what is best for the future is there's nothing wrong with America joining and now becoming a big whole north. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, when you have brother and sister and become a family, no? So at the end of the day, family is strong, no?
Yeah.
Right, so then simple as that. Doesn't matter.
It's all about opportunities and finance.
Everyone is an opportunist. Yeah. So it's what works for you and your finances. That's just what it comes down to, in my opinion.
But do you think, though, that the Americans taking over Canada, they would stand to benefit much more than we here?
But that's how it always goes anyway. I mean, once someone starts something new, at the end of the day, whoever was already doing it always going to seem like they've been benefiting because they've been doing it longer than those that's just entering it. So for you to see change, you have to just start. And people can use that same notion and say, well, for you to see change in what the Liberals are going to do, you have to wait and see. But I don't want to wait and see. I've been waiting a decade.
So why not Trump talk about joining up with Mexico or Argentina or those other neighboring countries?
Because Mexico is not Canada. That's just a simple answer. Everybody wants to be a Canadian.
What about us giving up all the things that we have, like our oil or minerals, all the things that the US doesn't have? Do you think that's the reason why they want to get us?
Firm, but you know what though? I don't think. I think if it was supposed to be an adjournment, I don't think we're going to be giving up anything. Because I don't think, well then again, who am I to say? I don't think Canadians are that silly to give up all that when we already have it. I think for you to be an adjoining, you have to, just like how there's policies in a workplace, at the end of the day, there's documents in which you'll sign to not be at the end of the rope where you're getting the worst end of the deal. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like Donald Trump says, if we join with and becomes a state, then all of the things that we have will be totally free to them. All the things that they have will be totally free to us.
So how is it? It's a win-win.
No, but we're giving up a whole lot more, like oil that we have in abundance, minerals that we have in abundance, all of that kind of a thing that we have in abundance.
Yeah, but then
They don't have these things.
at the end of the day, the taxes that we used to pay back then to what we're paying now, either which way, as regular citizens, we're not seeing this. The bigger, look at it this way: if it's not affecting my immediate wallet,
Yeah.
it's not gonna affect my immediate pocket. Simple as that. That's just how I look at it. You know,
It's just economics for you.
economics.
All right,
That's
thanks,
it.
sir.
No
Thanks,
problem, sir.
Thanks so much, man.